So in the previous videos we have talked about microservices and REST APIs and their respective methods like get, put, post. In this video we are going to create actual microservice and we will implement get, put, post and see how those works. We will be using Spring Boot and Java to create the same. So let's see what we are going to make. For this we are going to make a simple user management application. So this is the client which will make the request to application. So this whole part, that blocks that you are seeing, is part of the application. This is making the request and our application is divided into different layers. First is controller, second is service, and third is repository. So for separation of concern it is necessary to maintain the code. So role of the controller is to redirect the request to particular service which has actual business logic, and if this service needs data from the database, so it contacts the repository and repository contacts the database and fetches the data and returns it to repository and repository returns it to service. Service manipulates that data and prepares the response as it returns to the controller, and controller as it is returns the response to client. This way, this is the journey of the request and creating the response. Let's see what are the different endpoints. We will be having 5 endpoints in this application. 2 get methods. First get method will return all the users in the system. Second one will return except the ID, so it will return the single user from the system. Third is post. It will add the user into the system, and put, it will update the existing user into the system. It will take the request in body the details of the user to be updated or to be added. And user ID delete, it will take the ID and delete the user from the system if it is there. So let's go ahead and create the application. So I'm going ahead, and so to create the Spring Boot application, we have to go to this website start.spring.io and select the configuration Gradle Java 216, and I want GL here, and I want here user management app. Okay, then I can change this demo user management application. This is right, this is right, this is right. So I want only one dependency for this. So configuration is done, so let's go ahead and generate the project and download it. So yeah, I got it here. Extract user management app, so it is open now. So open this project in IntelliJ IDEA. So I'm opening this in IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, so first time it takes. Okay, so IntelliJ is open now. So here I have to select use auto import. It will make sure that the dependencies are downloaded automatically. Great, so the project is getting loaded into the system. So let's wait for a few seconds, and it is syncing. In this meantime, it is downloading the dependency. Let's go ahead and see the build.gradle. So this is the plugin, dependency management plugin, that it needs to make sure that all dependencies are downloaded properly. And this is the dependency that I have selected, boot starter web, from the configuration page that you saw. So it is loading, so will take hardly a minute or less than that to load the project. So project is loaded into the system and all the dependencies has been downloaded, so I can see the dependencies there. So I have mentioned only one starter with, but it has downloaded all the dependencies for me. It is the magic and kind of thing that Spring Boot does. You do not need to mention all the dependencies and go and see the project structure, main Java, and this is the main application that I have. So as per the design of the application that I have showed you, I need to create the 3 layers: controller, service, and repository. So let's go ahead and first create the controller. User controller. Okay, so I need to change the package of this user management dot controller. Okay, so let's move this package to this location. Okay, got it. So inside controller I have to make use of user service. So this is basically the interface that I'm going to create this interface app controller where I'll create this comgl user management inside here. So keep this in service package. Okay, main, right, correct. So select the folders carefully, so otherwise if there is slight mistake you will keep wondering how it is going. So first complete the user controller, then we will come to that user repository part. So first we are going to fetch all the users from the system. So create the method for that, get all users. I do not need any argument inside this. So what will be the return type? List users. So this will be the return type. Go ahead, and we do not have user also, so let's go ahead and create the user also. So let me, sometimes IntelliJ gets flooded with hanged and it doesn't give the recommendation properly, so go ahead and create the user class. So we will keep this in DTU, not in controller, as it is the DTU. Move to package this. Okay, so inside user controller I have to import that import class. So it is asking me different options. So which user I want this that I have created. So user service, from user service I need to call get all users, right, and return this method is not there, so I will create that. So yeah, it is created now. So inside user there are nothing, so we will give it some properties. Private string id, and private have user has some name, and it belongs to some place, so it has address, so everything. So just create getter and setter also. Select all, and this is the getter and setter. We come to user controller. So map this method to get mapping, request method, http method, and this user called users. When this request mapping will be, when this request URL will be called, this method will be executed. So this is for getting all the user. Now go ahead and write method for returning a single user. Get user, for single user I need ID of that user, and user service I need to call service and pass this ID there, get user ID, and mark it return. So controller does nothing, it just redirects the request to respective service, and respective does all the stuff. Yeah, it is created now, user controller, and similarly I need to map it here also with single user. Get mapping, this is the part user, and this ID, this will be some value which will keep changing. So to map this I need to use path variable here. So path variable, make sure this ID is mapped with this one. Okay, so we are done with 2. Now go ahead and add the user into the system. Public response, and I want the address of the user that has been added into the system. So for that I need the return type of this kind, response entity, add user, no, this is the method, and I need to add request body. I need to get user here. Okay, and now call user service, and then add this user. This method is not in service, so let's go ahead and create this. Create method. Okay, got added. So now, so just to create the URL that for the user that has been added, there is a code that I already have written, which is slightly little complex, not too much. So let me go ahead and just import the class, these dependencies. These are in Java itself. Okay, so yeah, got it. So this path I need to pass it here created. So what it does, so it creates the URL. So this ID, it is making kind of this one and passing this ID here, what user we have added with ID, and creating the URL for that, and will return this stuff for me. So map this method to post mapping. So what I want, user this path with post method, then this will method get executed. Next we want to update, so public, I want to return the updated user that has been updated. So user, this capital user, what is the user that I want to update, and what is the detail of that, and pass request body annotation here, and call user service and update user. Which user I want to update? This user. Okay, so what I want to return the updated user. Go ahead and create this method. See, okay, got it. So map this one, request, not request. I need to make use of this put mapping, and this single user and request body, we will have user object, so it will pass that and map that, and will try to get into the system. If it is in the system, it will update that user, otherwise not. It will never add a user into the system. If it is the existing user, it will update that one. So last mapping is left, public user, delete user. What I want here, string ID. So user service dot delete user, and pass the ID for the user to be deleted. So I want to return it, the user that has been deleted, full detail of that user. Okay, got it. And map this delete mapping user and ID. So I need to map this ID with this parameter in this method. So what I will use, path variable, correct? So this will delete user. So delete mapping, put mapping, post mapping, get mapping, get mapping. So controller is ready. Now go ahead with this user service and implement this user service. So what recommendation it is giving me, just select it, and it will go to this yellow bulb, and it will ask me to do some things. I'm interested in implement interface. Yeah, right, implement. It has given me the name also by appending IAM field. So yeah, that's okay, same name I want. So add this, implement all the methods. It is implementing all the methods, simple Java. So I want to make use of repository here, which is still not there in the system. So I'll go ahead and create this repository, create class repository. I want this into a new package, which is repository. So in actual application there will be multiple repositories, so code management becomes easy. So you get all the repository inside one package and all the services inside one service. Okay, so this will also have the same methods like the user service. So let's go ahead one and create one by one. So user repository dot, I want to get all users. Okay, create this method. So as of now I am not going to interact with the database, just to make it short. I'll explain that in another video. So user, not a string, it should be user, same. Make sure that which user you want, so because there are some user in the system APIs also, so it should be the one that you created. I want to initialize it with this array list and implement this. Okay, so get all users, return simply user list that is being populated. So get all user is done. So next we are going to return particular user ID dot get user and ID. This is also not there, so let's go ahead and create this. For this, just I need to match this ID with the existing one. I am making use of the Java 8. I will filter this with the u and u dot get id dot equals id. If it is matches, then dot find first. If there are many, I return the first which it finds. So just create the local variable for this. Find first, it is of optional type, so I will do one thing. First dot is present, it checks if it is present there or not, then present, then if present then return first dot get. Okay, else return the null user, new user. User object will be written, but everything inside them will be null. So we know that there is no user found with that respective ID. In actual scenario, there should be some exception or some business case, some message, but for now we are doing this way to signal ourselves. Put return. Okay, great. Yeah, we are done with the two methods. And next, user repository. We are adding it, so just add it. Add is pretty simple. Add user, just we will be going ahead and just adding this into the list, nothing else. Dot add user, right? Service IMPM, we are left with only two, so update user. So user repository dot update user and pass the user here and create the method update user inside the repository also. So now iterate over the user list using user u1 and not user list, and compare if u1 dot get id dot equals with the one that you have passed dot get id, then what you need to do, update this u1. So it will make sure that set id, see, we already have seen set name. What name it will hold now? User dot get name. So u1 dot set second field is address. So user dot get address. So the things are updated now. Okay, and after doing this, return this updated user, which details have been updated. If it is not found there, so if user list is not there, if it is empty, or if it goes there but this block is never true, so this will never return. In that case, the code control will come here and we will return user. So it will again return null null. User object will be there, but the material inside that will be null. So we will know that the user that we were trying to update doesn't exist in the system. Correct? So we're left with the last one, that is delete user. So let's go ahead and quickly implement this also. Dot delete id. Create the method inside this delete user. So what I'll do here, so let me first look for the user if it is present there or not. Then so from the get user I'll make use of this code. Okay, so just print it here. Okay, so make it local variable, introduce local variable. Okay, got it. And delete it from the system. User list dot remove user and return this user that has been deleted. And this, if it is not found in the system, return the user's name object and the details inside null. So I think we are done with the designing of the system, and let's take a look to the structure of the project. We have main application, above that service, repository, DTO, and controller. We have one class only, controller. It is interacting with service, user service, and it is its implementation. It is interacting with repository, and here DTO we have user, which is the part of the request. Okay, so one more thing I need to do, user service IMPL. So I have to annotate it with service to to enable it to act as a service. User repository, here also I have to annotate it with repository, not on package, my god, but on this class level. Okay, so we will see the explanation of these why we have used this repository service in upcoming video, but for now we are done with the application. It is ready now, so just go ahead and run it. So before running, let me go ahead and change the by default port, server.port 8082, make it 8082. Okay, by default it runs on 8080. So now go to this main one and run this application, and our application should be running on 8082 if the code we have done is right and correct. If it is not right, we will see the exception in the console. So it is running, it is started now. Console 216, we are using version Spring Boot. Starting active profiles, no active profiles. The profiles are of some concern, we will see in another video. For that they are very important actually, in terms of properties that we pass. So it is started on port 8082, and to interact with application I have installed Postman, which is a nice application to give the request kind of request like get, put, post request. From browsers we cannot send the post and update and delete request. We can get put only get request. So we are making use of this post. So this is the URLs that I have clear it all. So I was experimenting with this. So now postman is clean, so we are ready to send the first request. So let me prepare the request. Localhost for the local machine and port is 8082. So let me go ahead and fetch the first user detail. So I know there is nothing in the system, so it will return null for me. So let's go ahead and see. No message found 803. It is saying that the exception is 404. Why it is 404? Let's see the exception. There is no exception in the system. Localhost 8082. Let's see the controller here. User controller, user service. Okay, got it. So it is basically throwing the exception for me, right? Because I created this user service but have not injected this into the application in our controller. And same mistake I have done here in user repository. Okay, so I have to auto wire it. Okay, and in the controller also I have to auto wire it. Now it will work fine. So just restart the application. Yes, stop and rerun. So get mapping is users and get mapping user ID. Okay, so now it should work fine. So let the application start. So yeah, initialized started. So I have not added any login kind of thing so that we can see in the application. So we will see from here. So just hit it again. Yeah, you see again it is giving me the 404 exception. Why? Okay, one more mistake we have done. We want to create this application as REST application, and we have not added one very important annotation, which is REST controller. So see the kind of mistakes that we are doing, but by doing so we are remembering these annotations. We will not forget in future, right? So just go ahead and restart it again. So we have not this added REST controller, so it doesn't know what request is coming and which one to pass. That is why it is giving the 404 exception, that it is not mapping with any of the mappers that we have mentioned here. Now go ahead and hit it again. Now yeah, we got it. Now this is the user returning, so it is not in the system, so it is null. So now go ahead and make the post request to add this user. So post URL was like this, and it expected a request body which will be of JSON type. So you go ahead and select this raw and here JSON application and put it here. Give some ID 123, give name, suppose green burner I want to give, and city I want to give Noida. Okay, just send it. So the application should get created into the system. Okay, yeah, you see the response 201 created. Time it took this much and size this. And if I see headers, I can see the three data is here. So content length, date, and main thing is this URL. We have written code for this while writing the post mapping add user, and this we have made the URL and this build this and return this. So this is the result of that code. Okay, so I can go ahead and hit this is the get request, and we will get the detail in response. Where is the response? body. Here is the response. This is the for the request type, so it doesn't make any sense for the get request, so it is not taking. So in the get we can call it, right? So I can pass the get request from the browser also. If I hit it, I'll get the user, right? So we are done with the two endpoints. Just let's go ahead and create one more user. Go to body and change this 1234 and learner 123 and change to Dali. Okay, add this. So this is created. See, response to 01 created. So let me go ahead and change to this 1234. Yeah, I got it, right? So we have done two endpoints, adding the user and getting the user. Now go ahead and get all the users. Okay, so I can directly call it from here also. So by default from the browser it is the get request users. I get the two users 12324 that we added, and from here also I can pass users and method type only get I need, and I can send the request and I'll get the same output here. We are done with the three endpoints, and let's go ahead and update the detail. For update we need to mention the method HTTP method put users. In the body I need to pass these details. For 123 I want to change this one, so just change the name this to Arvind and change the location to Delhi and send it. 405 method not allowed. So 8082 users. Let's see what's happening in the code for the put mapping. So for user, yeah, URL is wrong. So users not, it is user, and send it. Yeah, I got the updated details. It means the detail has been updated. Okay, so if I hit get all users again, so I'll get this updated one for the ID 123 Arvind and Ali. Okay, so update is working fine. So let's see the negative scenario. If I pass 4 5, so it should not update anything and it should return null here. Let's go ahead and see null. So there was no user with this ID 12345, so it returned null for me. Now go ahead and delete a single user. So delete one and user, so delete this 123. Okay, I want to delete the user with ID 123, right? So it should get deleted. Send. Okay, yeah, 123 is deleted now. If I call this users, means it will hit the get all users. Yeah, so only one user is left in the system. If I call this again, so it will not be in the system, so I'll get null here. Okay, got it. So I can delete this one also. 1 2 3 4. Yeah, it is deleted, and if I call this, I'll get nothing, empty, because list is empty, so no data is being printed here. Okay, so we have seen all the endpoints one by one in detail testing. So let's come to the PowerPoint. So we are done with one. So what next? In the next video, we will see the explanation of this project. Technical details. Technical details, what do I mean by that? We have used REST controller, AutoWire, this kind of annotation with this user management application. We have a Spring Boot application. What are these and how under the hood these are working to make the RESTful application. So we will see the details of this in the next videos, upcoming videos, and we will see also unit and integration test for the same application. So I'll post the code this project in GitHub and give the description, give the link in the description box, so you can play around that, add the things as you want, and if you see face any issue and any kind of discussion, put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to help you out. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.